Hey, it's Andrew Huang. You've seen the title, you know what we're doing today. I have with me here a NEEWER NW800. I picked this for our comparison today because it's dirt cheap, but also pretty popular on Amazon. This thing will run you $21.99. And we're gonna pit it against an industry standard Neumann U87. This one costs $35.99.99. I do not own this microphone. I rented it for 1 week, which cost me $115. So for the price of renting this for a week, you can buy 5 of these and have enough money left over for this much candy. So I'm gonna do some tests with these, and I'm also gonna add in 2 more mics to compare some other price points. The SHURE SM58 is $99, reasonably within reach for most budgets, and it's probably the most iconic vocal mic of all time. If you've ever seen a live concert, you've probably seen one of these. Also from SHURE, this is the SM7B. This is the mic I've settled on for all my vocals and most of my instruments as well after a decade of home recording and experimenting with lots of different things. It's also fairly popular as far as mid-priced mics go. You can get one of these for $399. So I'm gonna start with a very quick test of just talking into each mic. Everything you're hearing right now is coming directly from the mics with no post-processing. You do need an audio interface to record from a microphone onto a computer. I'm using a Universal Audio Apollo Twin. I'm actually surprised by this little NW800. I thought it was gonna be tinny $20 garbage. It's not amazing, but I think it definitely could be usable if you're just starting a podcast or something. The sound is a little bit harsh though, and I think you'll notice when we switch to the 58, there is a significant improvement in tone. There's a lot more clarity here. And as we move on to the SM7B, I find this one is a little bit cleaner. The character is very similar to the 58 though, and that kind of makes sense. They're both made by the same company. And I don't know if there was ever going to be any doubt, but the really expensive mic sounds the best. But you just heard them all back to back too. Let me know, maybe you disagree. Let's move on to some singing tests. I just had an idea actually. If you want to do a blind test of how these mics sound when I sing into them, close your eyes for the next part of the video, see how you like the sounds, and then you can go back and check out what mic I was using for different sections, and maybe we'll discover something surprising. Or maybe a $3,600 mic can never be beaten. Sink or swim again, give you my hand till we reach the end. There's never dry land. We'll catch a glimpse of light when the stars are out tonight. We can make it there, we can make it all alright. Might drift until we die and reflect that lonely sky, but I'm fine if I just have you by my side. I made you a promise I'll keep, though we adjust. 2 bodies of water, I made you a promise I'll keep, though we adjust. 2 bodies of water. So hearing singing through these microphones has basically just amplified the opinions I had before. Even more surprised by this little guy. For some kinds of songs, I think you could get away with this. The frequency response is noticeably worse than the other microphones. This one is definitely a little too heavy in the mid-range, doesn't provide as much low end, and the treble can be a bit harsh. I feel like the SM58 in all respects is just like straight down the middle of the road. You don't notice it being awful or amazing. It is a microphone doing a microphone's job. The SM7B is a little bit more full and more detailed. And the Neumann, what a gift. What a beautiful, beautiful gift. I want to kiss you, but you're a rental and are probably covered in the spit of 1,000 people. Definitely the crispiest, the most clarity, a richer sense of detail. And I guess you have to be $3,000 richer to have one. So there's your comparison from something dirt cheap to something insanely expensive, and here's my verdict. For sound quality, out of 10, I would call the NEEWER a 5. Let's say 1 is like what a phone call sounds like. the NEEWER is a 5. It sounds better than what I would have expected for its price, and I think some people would find it fine for their projects. The SM58 is a 7. It's decent, it's definitely usable, but it sounds a little bit duller, a little bit less dynamic than you might want. The SM7B I would call an 8. It's really solid, it doesn't leave a whole lot to be desired. I've been really happy with mine for the last few years. And the NEUMANN is clearly the best one we have here. It represents the sound source the most accurately and in the most detail, so I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10, just to leave room for the fact that there are way more expensive mics out there. To visualize the price points, let's say each of these sour apple rings represents 100 American dollars. The NW800 looks like this. The SM58 is almost exactly $100. Here's the SM7B at $400. And for the U87, we need to put down 36 of these tasty green Benjamins. That is astronomically more candy on the board there. So which microphone is right for you? I've tried my best to present the audio from these mics as objectively and equally as possible, but I do carry around a couple philosophies with me in all my work. First, I will work with whatever is available. If all I could afford was this $22 microphone, I wouldn't let that stop me from creating. I would buy this thing and use it to its full potential. I have used the built-in mics on my laptop and my phone. The mic I started with was called a Midnight Blues, and I think it cost me $80 back in the day, and it sounded worse than this thing, and I used it all the time. The second thing is, when you get past a certain threshold of sound quality and of dollars, the improvements you can make get smaller and smaller. Worth it maybe if you have the money and if pristine quality is what you're going for, but you can absolutely do great work with less expensive tools. I am a career musician. This has been my living for 13 years now. I've released something like 40 albums. I've never used one of these before. If several $1,000s fell into my lap, I sure would, but this sure would also serve me well for just about anything. For the results you get, this is like the difference between 90% and 100%, and that last 10% is gonna cost you $3,000. And I think the microphone that's right for you is the one that you can afford. I feel like most people could put aside $99 for the SM58, but if you really can't do that, or if you're just working on small personal projects or never doing any singing, $21.99. I will say the build quality on this isn't great, and who knows how long it will last. This part especially is very cheap plastic. It feels like a kid's toy. And as a matter of fact, the NEEWER is $2 cheaper than this Deadpool action figure, and half the price of a stuffed berry from B-Movie. I could probably do an entire hilarious video comparing costs between this mic and other things. It's so cheap! I hope you enjoyed this video. I've linked to all these mics in the description if you want to learn more about them or buy one. Just casually add a U87 to your cart there, and I'll be back in a few days with a new video, so please subscribe!